recording. And yeah, so people who are watching this recording later, this class is a little bit different, and we're going to go through and really break things down and work on foundation, which is one of my favorite things ever in yoga. So I am so happy that this is a request for today. So we're going to start in just a child's pose. Bring your feet together, bring your knees wide. And then I want you to just melt yourself down towards the ground. So you want to straighten your arms out, bring your forehead to the mat. I like to sometimes bring one side of my head down. It's a long inhale. Nice slow exhale. Three. Two. One. Good, and then go ahead and switch sides. If you have one side of your head down, if you don't, then you can stay in the middle. So child's pose is obviously something we do a lot, and it's also a great tool for you if you're ever in practice and you start to feel like your breath is going out of control. Just coming into child's pose and slowing things down. Always an option. Yeah, that's two. All right, take one. And then I want you to push into your hands and pull yourself up to tabletop. So starting in our tabletop position, you want to have your shoulders over your wrists, your hips just over your knees. And then I always like to warm us up this way with like a sway and circling our body just to get a little bit loose, feel more mobile. Yeah, that's two. One. All right, then I want you to come to tabletop. We're going to move into our cat-cow. So pushing into our hands, pushing into our knees. As you inhale, you arch your back, you drop your belly, gaze up at the ceiling. As you exhale, push into all fours and then start to curl your spine. Get really, really small as you let your head drop. Good. We'll inhale, arch your back, look up. Exhale and round. So keep going here, and I just want to let you know what exactly I'm thinking we're going to do today. We're going to go through all the foundational, or not all, but a lot of the foundational poses that we do in this practice, and then kind of break them down and go through the similarities, the differences between them. I know there's a lot of confusion in general about like what's warrior one, what's high lunge, what's warrior two, all that. So that's what we're gonna get up to. I'm excited. I want you to stay here for two. Okay, it's one. All right, round out. You'll come to table, and then before we move into our poses, I want you to just extend your left leg behind you and extend your right arm out in front of you. Okay, and what I want you to notice here is sometimes your hip lifts up, sometimes your shoulder lifts up, okay? We don't want that. We want your right arm, your right shoulder in line with your left. You want your left hip in line with your right hip. So every time I say square your shoulders, square your hips, that's what I mean. You're gonna check in and make sure, you're gonna have to like re-engage to make sure that things are in line. Okay, it's 2. Stay here. Just 1. And then we'll bring both of our hands down. We're gonna bend that back leg and step it forward. This is our low lunge, so we'll start here. So we start with our hips over our back knee. Again, shoulders and hips are square. They're both facing the same direction. If they weren't square, they would be like this. Okay, that's like open. We don't want that. We want them square. Okay, and then let's just hold on to our hips. Let's push forward just to warm ourselves up. That back foot can be either tucked under, toes tucked under, or flattened. You'll decide what feels more natural for you. As you do this, I want you to keep your belly engaged. Okay, if you let your belly go, you're gonna hurt your low back. So keep your belly engaged. Stay here, push forward. 2. Hold it. Good, 1. Alrighty, exhale. Moving into our first pose. We're gonna hold onto the front of our mat, or just framing our front foot. You're gonna pick up your back leg so that your heel is stacked over your toes, and then from here you rise up. This is high lunge. Hi, Tanya. Tanya, we are doing fundamentals of yoga today, foundations of the poses. So high lunge, all your toes are facing the top of your mat. Your back heel is lifted. If at any point this is too much, we do high lunge a lot, you can always drop it to low lunge. Okay, but if you have it lifted, that back heel is high, ideally right on top of your toes. That back knee is pointing up towards the ceiling. Hips are forward, shoulders are forward. Okay, I'm gonna come check in. Is that good? Do you feel your hips are square, shoulders are square? Good. One little note about this pose before we move on is that front knee in all warriors, sometimes it starts to cave in as we get tired. I don't want that. I want your knee always going outwards. Imagine you're tracking it over your pinky toe. Okay, take 1. Stay here. Okay, you're gonna bring your hands down. You're gonna drop your back knee. We're gonna take a little rest, okay? So from here, I want you to straighten your back leg and just sit back. This is like your single-legged split, working towards Hanuman, or the full split over time. But we do this one a lot more often, just a half. Straightening your leg, leaning back. Good, hold for 2. Hold it for 1. Okay, now we're moving into warrior 1, different from high lunge, okay? That's a lot of confusion in yoga. So I want you to bend into that top leg again, lift up. This time, you're gonna drop your back heel, you're gonna swivel it down, and then turn your toes out, rise up. So my hips and shoulders still face the front. My back foot is now on an angle. My heel is flat. I'll show you this way. So heel is flat, toes are turned out. This leg is still straight. I'm still facing forward. Okay, so for this one, you really want to push the outside edge of your back foot into the mat. And then for the full expression, arms come up. Good, breathe. So this is warrior 1. Still square hips, square shoulders. You're still bending into that front knee. Back leg straight. Back heel is down. One little note about this, we're gonna do it together. So from here, I'm gonna start to slowly walk that back foot forward without moving it, otherwise. It should land hip width. So when you walk it forward, if you don't land with your feet hip width, if you land somewhere like this, then your feet were too close, okay? So go back, find your warrior 1, make sure your feet are about hip width, and then you'll test it. You'll just start to slowly step it up. And then check that they're hip width. Good, let's do that one more time. Take it back to warrior 1. Plant the outside edge of your foot down. You really want to push through your heel, push through the outside edge of your foot. Even though you're pushing through the outside edge of your foot, you might have a tendency to turn this way. I want you to really turn your hips forward, okay? Both hips facing forward, arms reach up. Awesome, for 2. Good, hold it here, relax your shoulders. Take 1. Slowly, slowly, I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna walk it forward. Nice and slow. Make sure it lands hip width. Once you get hip width, you're gonna bend from your hips. You're gonna just take a forward fold. This is called ragdoll pose. So pushing into our heels, we're hinging from our hips. Head is heavy, shoulders are heavy. Beautiful, breathe here. Stay in. Okay, so we're gonna move next, stay there, take your rest. We're gonna move next into warrior 3. It's confusing because we're doing warrior 2. I'll explain why in a second. Okay, so stay here nice and low. Just 2. Okay, it's 1. Bring your hands to the mat, toe heel your feet to touch. Let's just roll up from our low back first, okay? So roll up really slowly, low back straightens. Middle, upper, shoulders, head and neck are last. Reach your arms up all the way. Beautiful, arms come down. This time, I want you to reach up. Stay on your right leg, your left leg. I don't know why we start with the left leg forward. You're gonna lift your right knee. Lift your right knee. Okay, holding here. Warrior 3, you're gonna start to lean forward and send this leg behind you, arms forward. That's the full expression. So what it looks like, hips are square, you just have one leg lifted. I find in warrior 3, sometimes I prefer palms together. Something about having my palms at heart center makes me feel more balanced. Okay, so for this one, your hips are still square, they're just facing. You just have one leg lifted, okay? Your chest is down. Yeah, that's beautiful. Make sure that top hip, that right hip rolls down so it's in line with your left. Good, hold for 2. Breathe here. Hold for 1. All right, bring your feet together, just stand. Let's shake things out. So we're gonna go back into warrior 3. This time I want you to pay attention to what your back foot is doing, okay? So I'm gonna start to reach my arms up, my right knee to chest. I'm going to hinge. I'm gonna hinge, hinge, hinge. Wherever you are with your arms is fine. Can you notice what that back foot is doing? Can you zip it up? So you're either flexing or really pointing your toes. What I don't want is a lazy foot. You want your foot really active. This will help you with all balancing poses. Okay, hold it there for 2. Awesome, breathe. Hold it there for 1. Okay, feet touch. Woo. Less graceful than me, or more graceful is fine. Okay, good. Shake it out. Shake it out. We're gonna move and do all of that on the left side before we do warrior 2. I mean on the right side, we start with left. Okay, before we do warrior 2, because warrior 2 is really different. So I just want you to reach your arms up all the way. Inhale. Bring your palms together, just hinge from your hips to fold. Okay, walk me through that chaturanga. So I want you to lift halfway, hands to shins. Lifting halfway means that your back is straight, ideally parallel with the ground. And then you're gonna bring your hands to your mat. You're gonna step it back to a high plank. Okay, from high plank, just kneel and watch me first, okay? So 2 options. Option 1, more advanced, high plank. Elbows in close to your body, look forward, you lower halfway. From there, upward facing dog, chest comes through. Thighs are off the mat for upward dog, and then we go to downward dog, okay? If that's challenging, what I see a lot, just watch me for a sec, what I see a lot, people go from high plank, they're trying to lower, but they're collapsing. So they're like really collapsing on their way down, okay? I don't want that. I also don't want to see this. Okay, I really want you to lower as one unit, shifting your weight forward, lowering. If that's not accessible, I want you to go on your knees, okay? So option there to come on your knees, belly tight, elbows in close to your body. You lower halfway, then you come up, upward dog. So I want you to walk through it a couple times. Come to your high plank. Come to high plank, either drop your knees or not. So notice, if you're not lowering as one unit, you want to use your knees. Good. High plank. Yeah, look forward. I see a lot of people look down when they're lowering. You want to look forward in your chaturanga. Try it again. High plank. Look forward, look forward, look forward. Yes, yes. Then chest through, upward dog. Thighs are off the mat for upward dog. And then take yourself up and back, find downward dog. Okay? In our downward dog, let's just pedal. Breathe here. Downward dog. Hands are shoulder width apart at least. They can be wider too. Feet are hip width apart. Bum is way up and back. Good, just breathe. 2. Stay lifted. Pushing into your fingertips. Working to drive your heels into the ground in this one, okay? Options there to just bend your knees if you need a rest, because it's a lot for our hamstrings, okay? Hold for 1. And your calves especially if your heels are down. Then I want you to just come back to your tabletop. Let's come to table. Let's sway, let's circle. Good, it's 2. 1. Awesome. Let's go for the other leg. So we started with the left leg. I want you to go to the right now. So right leg behind, left arm forward. And then take this time to check in right here. This is the best way to check if your hips and shoulders are square. I always lose the square in my hips. I always end up somewhere here because I have really open hips. I don't know why it is. That's an excuse I tell myself. But yeah, you want to really work on it. Work on strengthening, work on holding as much as you can in your bird dogs. Okay, hold for 2. Zip up that back leg. Make sure shoulders and hips are square. Okay, it's 1. And then we're going to bring our hands down. We're going to bend and bring the right leg forward and set up for your low lunge. So we start here with our hips over our back knee. This is the simplest form of the low lunge, just holding here. Arms could reach up as well. We'll do it with arms up for this round, okay? And then more challenging, you start to push forward. Maybe you untuck your back toes. Okay, so you decide how much of a hip stretch this is. Just breathe. 3. Hold it. 2. 1. We're gonna bring our hands down. We're gonna frame our front foot. Moving into our high lunge. Okay, can you give me like a heel up means you think thumbs up means heel up, thumbs down means heel on the ground. What do you think for high lunge? Do you think your back heel is up or down? That's warrior 1. That's warrior 1. See, and this is like, it happens all the time. It's super confusing. So high lunge, think of it like high lunge, back heel is high. And then warrior 1, your back heel is rooted, okay? So our right foot's forward, our left leg is behind, your heel is up, your heel is stacked over your toes, belly tight, you lift. Okay, nice and strong. Hips are square, shoulders are square, everything faces forward. Zip up that back leg, send the back of your knee up to the ceiling. Good, arms reach up for full expression. This is high lunge. And it's confusing because in some studios, they call this warrior 1. So depending on where you've gone before, one of my favorite studios ever, the owner calls this warrior 1. Okay, so nice bend in your knee, hold for 2. Really good, hold it for 1. Zip up that back leg, high lunge, that back leg is really, really straight, really strong, because you want to keep that heel lifted, okay? And then slowly, let's just lower it to the ground. Let's bring our hands down, let's straighten. This is your runner's line. Eventually, you'll make your way to splits from here. Front leg straight. Good, just breathe. Hold it here. 2. Stay in. Okay, so now this one should be easy. In warrior 1, is your back heel lifted or low? Warrior 1, lifted or low? Yes. So good. Okay, so let's make our way up to warrior 1. Kenya, hopefully you're with us. You're gonna lift up. You're gonna plant your back heel down. You must turn your toes out to get the heel down, and then rise. Hips square, shoulders square. Everything faces forward. Arms reach up. So my back leg is still strong. Still want to zip up that leg, but you have the support of your heel. You're pushing your heel. You're pushing the outside edge of your foot to the ground. Arms reach up. Make sure, here I am. Make sure you're not starting to turn this way because of this hip. You're turning, forward. My mat is so slippery. Okay, you're turning forward. And then let's try it. So without moving anything, can you start to slowly walk that back foot forward? See where it lands. Good. Yeah, that's great. Send it back again. Back heel on the ground. Hips square, shoulders square, rise up. This is warrior one. Back heel on the ground. Think of warrior like it's grounded, it's strong. You want your heel on the ground to help you. And then let's slowly lock it in again. Hold. Yeah, one more time. Send it back. Plant your heel, square your hips, square your shoulders, rise up. Beautiful. Breathe. Hold here. Good. It's 2. Back heel is down. The outside edge of your foot is down. 1. Woo. Okay, let's lock it in. Lock it in. Good. This time, bring your hands to your hips, pop up your chest, and just fold forward. For this one, I want you to take peace fingers around your big toes, pull up on your toes, and just melt your chest down. And these forward folds, we do them a lot as breaks in our practice. There's no need to keep your legs straight if you don't want to, okay? Bending your knees is a great way to bring rest into your practice. But it's 2. Stay in for 1. Alrighty, I want us to pull your hands out from under your feet, dangle forward, and then can you roll up again? Roll up really, really slow, pushing into your heels, you'll roll up. Keep your head down until the bottom, until you get to the top. Good. Really slow. Nice, 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 nice. Once you get up, reach your arms up. Bring your arms down. Good. Okay, so we'll move into the other side. So from here, I want you to reach your arms up. Just bring your knee to chest. Notice if you can't balance here. It's nothing bad. Depending on the day, like I'm wobbly a lot. Lots of days I just cannot. So if you cannot, if I call a balancing pose, you can always stay here. If I say like open up, but if you're here and you can't find balance, then don't bother opening. It's just gonna throw you off, okay? Work on this. And then let's slowly start to kick our leg back. Imagine you're kicking something or someone behind you as you straighten, okay? Really important. This back leg is like super locked. Oh, see, I can't balance today. Your back leg is super locked out, okay? So it's not bent. When you're first learning these poses, we tend to bend our knees. We tend to want to keep everything close to our core. I want you to really extend and trust yourself, okay? Hold for 2. Zip up that back leg. You got it. Hold for 1. And then bring your feet to touch. Shake things out. We'll go one more time. Okay? Ooh, it's tricky. One more time. So this is warrior 3. So think of warrior 1, back heel down, rooted and strong. High lunge is high ankle, high heel. Warrior 3 is like a flying warrior. It's like the last warrior pose, you're like ready to go. I don't know, go where? Go into battle. We're going with the warrior analogy. I want you to reach your arms up again. Bring your left knee to chest. Pause. Make sure you find your balance here, grounding through all 4 corners of your standing foot. And then slowly, slowly, you'll start to hinge. You might find this is it for you, okay? That leg might not go all the way up to hip height. If you're here and you're balanced, I'm happy with that. Over time, you'll get to hip height, okay? Zip up your back foot, hold it. Just breathe. Push all 4 corners of your standing foot into the ground, okay, for 2. Whew, it burns. Okay, 1. Beautiful, feet touch. And just shake things out. Okay, we're gonna go through one more chaturanga practice. Then we're gonna work through warrior 2. And warrior 2 is so distinct that we're doing it separate, okay? So I want you to, you're good? Did I freeze? Did we freeze? Have I frozen? I don't think I have. Does your belly touch the ground? No. Great question. Wow, I'm so slow. I couldn't figure out that you were typing. Okay, let me show you. So coming into our hut, so usually we won't go through the sun salutation, but usually you go arms up, you fold, you halfway lift, okay? Then we get to our high plank. You're only lowering to 90-degree bend in your elbows. So we're gonna shift from high plank, we're gonna shift forward to get really high on our toes. See how here I'm back? My heels are kind of back. I want you to bring your heels really forward, okay? Then you're ready, chest up. You're just gonna bend your elbows 90 degrees, and then your chest comes through for upward dog. So you never touch the ground, good. And then you take it up and back for your downward dog. Okay, let's try it again, high plank. Find your regular plank that you would do it in any other class. Then you're gonna shift forward a bit, get light, and then elbows bend 90, keep your head forward. Chest up, it's your upward facing dog. Beautiful, downward dog. Let's get one more in from high plank. First, shift forward, look forward, bend your elbows 90 only, chest comes through, upward. Good, push it back, take downward dog. And just take a little rest in your downward dog or child's pose, whatever you need. In downward dog, it's a great option to bend your knees and keep your hips way up. Good, hold for 3. 2. 1. Okay, from here, I want you to bring your feet together and then lift your right leg up in the air and just step it between your hands. Okay, we're gonna walk over to the left. We're gonna take a wide-legged fold. I just want you to fold in the direction that's easiest for you to see me. So you can, if it makes more sense for you to fold towards the right of your mat, that's fine. We're just gonna do one side today. Okay, so in your wide-legged fold, both heels are down, legs are straight, really important in wide-legged fold, and then we hinge from our hips and we just hang our upper body forward. If you can't quite reach the ground, that's totally fine. You either dangle, hands to hips, or use blocks. That's my favorite. If you don't have them now, I grabbed them to show you. Okay, just breathe here.
Please let me feel.
Awesome. Okay, my playlist is ready for Shavasana, and I'm not, so I'm gonna switch our song.
Please let me feel.
Okay, so from here, I want you to bring your hands up to your hips, pull yourself up. We're gonna go through 2 poses. We're gonna go through Warrior 2 and Triangle Pose because they're kind of similar. Warrior 2, so right now, if you look down, your heels should be in line, your toes should be in line, feet should be parallel, all going one way. From here, I'm just gonna turn, we'll start with the left since we started with the left earlier. I'm gonna turn my left toes out. So now, my right toes are facing one way, my left toes are facing this way, like an L. Okay, then you're gonna bend into your left leg and open up. This is Warrior 2. Okay, so Warrior 2, this is super simple for me to hold. The way to amp it up and make it harder is to lengthen your stance or widen your stance, make it longer. Okay, wherever you are, that back heel, the outside edge, kind of like Warrior 1. Okay, we're always focusing on the outside edge of our feet in the warrior poses. You're really pushing the outside edge of your back foot into the ground so that you can find balance. And notice in Warrior 2, our hips are not facing forward, our hips are facing the side. So this is an open hip pose, okay? Hips are open. That front knee is bent. Make sure your knee doesn't cave in. It does not, you're not collapsing on the inside, the arch of your foot. Your knee is going outwards towards your pinky toe. Good, hold here. Stay in. It's 1. And let's just undo. We're gonna straighten the leg first. We're gonna turn the toes back to face the same direction as the right. Good, and then we'll just take a little rest, okay? So you wanna like bend a little side to side. Whatever you want to do to rest. I don't know if this is actually restful. Okay, so we're going to move into Warrior 2 on the right. So all the toes face the same direction. I'm gonna turn to my right foot. I'm gonna turn my right foot to the other side. So now my right foot is facing this way. My left foot is still facing this way. They're perpendicular, they're making an L. Okay, then I just bend. Here I am, warrior two. Again, this for me, I could hold this all day, super simple. If I wanna make it harder, I'll lengthen, I'll make my stance longer, I'll separate the distance between my feet. What I want you to do is make sure, again, this knee doesn't collapse. So usually in a practice, number one thing I notice in my students, as we hold warrior two, their knees start to cave in, okay? Because we get tired, make sure your knee's always going outward. Good, hold for two. Notice your open hips, okay? You're not facing forward, your hips are open. Good, it's one. And then to undo, let's just straighten the leg. Let's turn the toes back to the middle. Good, and then again, I don't know why this is our rest. Better way to do it is to bring your hands down and bend side to side. It's more restful. Just felt right to me today. Okay, we have time for one more pose. We're gonna work on triangle pose. I want you to lift up. This is one of my favorites. Also, one that's done incorrectly a lot, okay? So, I'm gonna show you with a block. If you don't have a block, use a water bottle. If you don't have a water bottle, I'll give you an option, okay? So, here we are. Again, starting from that, you can use a book propped up. You can use like a set of VHS tape, something tall. I'll give you a sec. Good. So, moving into, yes, our triangle pose, really good. So here we are. Right now, all my toes face this way. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start the same way I would warrior two. I'm gonna turn my left toes to the back or to whatever, one end of my mat. So now my left toes face this way, my right toes face this way, okay? Grab your prop in your left hand. Then you're just gonna start to reach. Imagine someone's pulling you from this arm, someone's pulling you away. When you get far enough, you drop down and then your right arm comes up. So my chest is turned to the side. Both my heels are planted and my legs are straight. I don't want you to start to bend. I see a lot of people who don't use props bending their knees to try and get into the pose. I really, really recommend doing this pose with props, okay? It's tricky. Over time, you'll find the flexibility to go all the way to the ground. And as you do this, you're gonna squeeze your shoulder blades together and really puff up your chest. Look up over your right shoulder. It's a heart opening pose, okay? Hold it for two. Both legs are straight, stay in. Good, hold it for one. And then with a really strong belly, hold on to your prop, pull yourself up. Good, let's turn our toes back the same direction. We're gonna go for the other side. So my right toes turn out. Now I have my right toes this way, I have my left toes this way. I'm gonna grab my prop in my right. Imagine, push both heels into the ground. Really hold on to that, okay? Imagine someone's pulling you, and then you'll hinge. You'll bring your right hand down, your left arm up, okay? Look up over your left shoulder, squeeze your shoulder blades to touch. Good, puff up your chest. Hold it here. Awesome. You want to feel light, okay? So you don't want to feel like you're collapsing into the right side. Right now, because I'm like lazy and tired, I am collapsing, okay? I don't want you to do that. I want you to really get higher. Lift up out of your rib cage, squeeze your shoulder blades together, puff up your chest, okay? You should be able to just hover here without your hand on anything, okay? That shows you that you're really engaging everything. Hold for one. Now belly tight. Let's pull ourselves up. You can leave your prop where it is. Hands to hips, turn your toes back to face the same way. Good, and then we're just gonna step both of our feet to the top of our mat. We're gonna move into a little bit of a hip opener to close out our practice, okay? So from here, I just want you to lower. We're gonna start with a seated thread the needle today. We're gonna end with the seated thread the needle. So facing this way, I'm gonna bring my left foot on top of my right thigh, making a figure four shape. And then you just apply some pressure to the knee. Looks something like this. And then to go into the full expression of the pose, what I want you to be mindful of is so the full expression, we loop our fingers behind our right thigh, and then there's an elbow or something pushing your left knee away, okay? As you go down, I want you to make sure your full spine is supported. So your shoulder blades, your low back are supported by the mat. Really, really pushing down into the mat. Good. And then sometimes for years, I didn't have the flexibility to loop my hands behind my thigh and also push my knee away. If that's happening for you, just keep your right hand behind the thigh, take your left hand out of the equation, and bring your left hand to the knee. Push it away, okay? You don't have to have your fingers looped together. Awesome, let's hold for 2. Spine is flat, spine is supported by the mat. Take 1. Good, I want you to undo your legs, just start to rock up and down, holding on to the backs of your knees. And then let's come to the top, we'll do the right side. So right foot to left thigh, hold. Just start here. So what I was showing you on the ground is that one hand stays under the thigh, the other hand, either elbow or hand, pushes the knee away, okay? When you're ready, there's no rush, you'll make your way to the ground. And then let your priority in this pose, I know it's a hip opening pose, but can you let your priority be the spine? Okay, your spine supported by the ground. And then priority number 2 is feeling the hip opener. Good, that's 2. Undo, grab the backs of your knees and just push your low back into the ground. Maybe you'll circle your knees a couple times. Awesome, circle the other way. When you're ready, you'll move into your final resting pose, okay? Shavasana with straight legs, straight arms. You can have your knees bent, feet together. Whatever feels right. So Shavasana is also a pose. It's called corpse pose. And what I want you to notice here is if there's any part of your body that's still engaged, any muscles that you're still engaging, can you relax those muscles? And then with that relaxation, can you also release control of your breathing? And then last element is finding a still mind. And what that means is that your thinking is still gonna happen, right? Our thinking is automatic. But you choose not to engage with thoughts as they come up. Okay, and if they just pass through you, you won't be distracted, you'll stay in this meditative stillness. to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Reach your arms overhead, take a full body stretch. Roll into the fetal position on one side. With your eyes closed, find a seat at the top of your mat. Palms together at your heart center. And take one big breath in. Open your mouth and sigh. Thumbs to your forehead center. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something.